लोक आस्था का महान पर्व है छठ, जो न सिर्फ बिहार और यूपी में बल्कि उन तमाम जगहों पर पूरी श्रद्धा और आस्था के साथ मनाया जाता है जहां पूरब के लोग जाकर बस गए हैं रोजी रोटी के लिए, पढ़ाई लिखाई के लिए, व्यवसाय के लिए। न सिर्फ महानगरों में बल्कि विदेशों में भी जब हम छठ पर्व की बात करते हैं तो इसके सुमधुर गीत की चर्चा स्वाभाविक है। छठ पूजा के दौरान पूरा वातावरण छठ के गीतों से गुंजायमान रहता है। चूँकि छठ पर्व बिहार और यूपी में मनाया जाता है तो इसके गीतों में भी आंचलिक शब्दों की बहुतायत देखने को मिलती है। दूसरे प्रांत के लोग भी इस आंचलिक शब्दों को समझने में, बोल पाने में थोड़ी कठिनाई महसूस करते हैं। ऐसे में अगर कोई विदेशी महिला छठ के गीत गुनगुनाए, गाए और उनके गाए गीत सोशल मीडिया पर वायरल हो तो आपको हैरानी तो होगी। जी हाँ, क्रिस्टीन एक ऐसी ही महिला है जो अमेरिका के फ्लोरिडा में रहती हैं और उनके गाए छठ के गीत पिछले कुछ एक वर्षों से काफ़ी वायरल हुए हैं। मैंने क्रिस्टीन से सोशल मीडिया के ज़रिए, व्हाट्सएप के ज़रिए संपर्क साधने की कोशिश की, उनके फेसबुक प्रोफाइल को खंगाला और उनसे बातचीत की। बातचीत में उन्होंने क्या कुछ कहा छठ पर्व को लेकर, छठ के गीत को लेकर, भारतीय संस्कृति को लेकर, भारतीय परंपरा को लेकर और भारत की आध्यात्मिकता को लेकर, वो हम तो देखेंगे, सुनेंगे ही। लेकिन उससे पहले आइए क्रिस्टीन के गाए गीतों की कुछ झलकियां देखते हैं और फिर उस बातचीत को सुनते हैं।
Hello, this is Christine Ghezzo, wishing all my friends in Bihar a very, very happy Chhath Puja, wishing everyone much love, much happiness, and I hope you will enjoy this Chhath Puja song. सुन छठी माई मोर बीनितिया हो, असिया पूरन होय, असिया पूरन होय। होई है आदित्य मल सहेया हो, असिया पूरन होय, असिया पूरन होय। जनमे अभागिन कहेली हो, असिया पूरन होय, असिया पूरन होय। खेलवा के पात पर उगेलन सूरज मल झाके झुके, खेलवा के पात पर उगेलन सूरज मल झाके झुके। हे करेलू छठ बरतिया से झाके झुके, हे करेलू छठ बरतिया से झाके झुके।
आइए अब क्रिस्टीन से हुई बातचीत को सुनते हैं।
So how did I come to Indian music? That is a very long and a very interesting story that seems to have begun even before I was born. So both my parents were music professors, musicians. My father has passed away, but he was the director of music composition at New York University for 35 years. His name was Dinu, D-I-N-U, Ghezzo, same last name. And my mom, Dr. Marta Ghezzo, is still teaching music at the City University of New York. So I grew up in a family of musicians, and they were very passionate about many different traditions of music. And it just so happened that when my mom was pregnant with me, my parents were listening to a lot of Indian classical music. So I started listening to it in her belly. And they were refugees, political refugees from Romania. I was born in New York City, but they were from Romania. and they did not have many friends in the US at the time. And an Indian family actually hosted my baby shower. And so I was celebrated coming into this world at the house of an Indian family, and they also happened to be playing Indian classical music during that party. So I strongly believe that that imprinted the direction of my life and coming to Indian classical music and traditional music, folk music. As you know, I also sing bhajans and many different traditions in Indian music and world music traditions also. So how did I become so dedicated to learning Indian music? That turning point happened about 15 years ago. I was having lunch at an Indian restaurant in Jackson Heights, Queens, and they were playing the soundtrack to the movie Raincoat with the incredible singer Shubha Mudgal. And I was sitting there and I went into a complete trance listening to her and listening to that music. And in that moment, I just knew that I had to learn Indian music, that there was a deeper calling. I was already a vocalist, and I started performing when I was 7 years old because my parents, as I said, were musicians as well. But I was singing Romanian, Hungarian, Eastern European traditional music. That's part of my background. And so after listening to that soundtrack in a restaurant, I just knew that I was very inspired and motivated to find a guru. And my first guru was Pandit Kamal Mishra. He taught at a school called Shikshayatan in Queens, which was run by Purnima Desai. And Pandit Mishra has since passed away. And in more recent years, I moved from New York to Florida. I live in St. Petersburg, Florida, which is close to Tampa. And I found my Guruji, Pandit Radharamani Kirtane, who runs the Pandit Jasraj School of Music in Tampa, Florida. And it's really in the last 5 years and living here that my dedication to learning Indian music, specifically North Indian classical music. I'm being trained in a very traditional Guru Shishya Parampara. I feel very blessed, and really all credit goes to my gurus. So Pandit Radharamani Kirtane is a senior disciple of Pandit Jasraj, and there are no words to express what an amazing vocalist he is, and what an amazing teacher he is, and how generous of a soul to really want to teach all of us students as much as he can. And I'm also very fortunate to study with Pandit Ratan Mohan Sharma, who's Pandit Jasraj's nephew, who comes from India once a year. And then at that time, I take classes with him as well. Am I familiar with the socio-cultural diversity of India? To a certain extent, I am, of course, because I've been on this path for a long time. But India is such an immense place with many, many different cultures and languages and practices that I feel like I am still just at the very edge of having an understanding of the vastness of Indian cultural traditions, spiritual traditions. This is something that I am learning on a day-to-day basis, and my friends, my gurus, all are part of that learning process. And having so many friends in Bihar now and being part of the Chhath Puja festivities, I keep learning more and more about that. But no, I would not say in any way that I am an expert. I still have so much to learn in regards to that. When was my first trip to India, and what was the impact or the attraction there at that time? So my first trip to India was around the year 2007, and I went with my husband, and we went to New Delhi, Jaipur, Agra, and Varanasi. And I had already been studying Indian classical music, but only very briefly. So at that time, I went to India with the beginner's mind. So it was truly a learning experience, the impact. And I must say that going to Varanasi, my first time in India, was the most incredible experience. It still remains in my heart as one of the most transformative experiences of my life. And I think it was actually that trip that solidified my dedication to this path. Because at that point in Varanasi, in this city where both life and death are so present, and the energy of Lord Shiva is so tangible, I just knew that there is no going back after that. And it also made a profound impact, obviously, on my inner life, and of exploring the deeper levels of the spiritual meaning that India holds in many different ways. There's so many, as we discussed earlier, so many diverse traditions. But Varanasi, the intermingling of life and death, the Mother Ganga, Lord Shiva, all converging, was one of the most profound experiences of my life. And then 2 years ago, I was invited to Assam, to Silchar, by a company called the Northeast India Company, to do an artist residency with them, and to do a solo concert at their facility. And I spent close to 1 month in Silchar, Assam, and met amazing people. I worked with wonderful musicians in a vast variety of different musical traditions. And that was also a very transformative experience for me. And on that same trip, I was in Kolkata, and gave a house concert on a rooftop in the old quarters of Kolkata, and that was that made my heart so happy. And being in the city of Mother Kali and going to Dakshineshwar was also another transformative experience for me. And I'm very much looking forward to going back, hopefully, maybe next year, if the universe agrees. who is my music guru and how does he teach me? So my guru is Pandit Radharamani Kirtane. He is a senior disciple of the great Sangeet Martand Pandit Jasrajji of the Mewati Gharana. And my Guruji is originally from Mumbai. He's Maharashtran. And we study, all the students with him, study under a very traditional Guru Shisha Parampara. He runs an organization here in Tampa, Florida, called the Pandit Jasraj Institute of Music. And we have many, many students of all age groups, from 3 years of age to 60 years of age. And I am in the upper category, in my 40s. But we have a big community of students. We have a very traditional Gurukul. I'm studying North Indian classical music with my Guruji. And words cannot express how grateful I am to have him as my Guru. He is truly the best example of a living Guru who is both an incredible vocalist, incredible performer, but also so dedicated to teaching his students, and has so much wisdom and knowledge. Any question he has a full explanation for, and such a generosity of spirit where he wants all of us to really learn as much as we can from him. There is nothing held back. He wants each of us to succeed and to learn and to make this music a deep part of our lives. So each one of us are so grateful to him, and all credit for everything that I'm doing now goes to him. It's 100% clear on that. I am also very blessed that I have an opportunity to study with Pandit Ratan Mohan Sharma, who is Pandit Jasraj's nephew and my Guruji's Gurubai. So he comes from India once a year, and he stays at the Gurukul for 1-2 months, and we all have an opportunity to learn with him as well. So how did I start singing Chhath Puja songs? First of all, I would like to express how deeply grateful I am to have been welcomed so warmly, and for so many people to be listening to these recordings. I never had this expectation, and I feel very, very deeply blessed and very, very humbled by how everything is unfolding with the Chhath Puja songs. So 3 years ago, a Facebook friend of mine, Vishesh, saw a video of me singing a Diwali song, and he reached out and said, "Hey Christine, I'm from Bihar, and in a few days Chhath Puja is starting, and could you please learn this song, Kancha Hi Bansake?" And so I could share it with my friends and family. It would mean a lot to me. And I said, of course, if you send me the words and the translation, I would be happy, very, very happy and honored to sing a Chhath Puja song for you. And so I sung, I made an iPhone video holding it, and really I understood the meaning of the words, but the pronunciation was far from perfect. But I just did a very casual video. That's the first video that I released, which now on one site has over 1.1 million views. I sent it to him, And I went to sleep right after that, the time difference. And when I woke up, suddenly I had an inbox full of messages and people reaching out to me, and I realized that within the span of 12 hours, that first video had gone viral. And it felt like I was actually living on another planet. It still feels like that sometimes. But with full grateful heart, but it happened so unexpectedly. And since then, every year I sing at least one song. Actually, last year I did 2 songs last year, and then I did 2 songs this year. So then last year, another Facebook friend, Aditya Prakash Anoka of Akar Bhojpuri, reached out to me, and he taught me 2 more songs, and those were spread far and wide as well. And it's just been incredible. And then this year, a group of friends from the organization of Purua reached out and said, could you please sing our composition, Puta Asa Dhiowu? And I recorded that, and that is, from what I understand, or what I was told today, has also gone viral. Like I mentioned, it never was my expectation for these songs to be viral, but I feel very deeply grateful to the people that have worked with me along the way, who felt a connection to my spirit and gave me the honor of singing songs that are important to them and to the festival of Chhath Puja. So the question is, in the Chhath Puja songs, these are in languages that are prevalent in Bihar and some parts of UP, and how did I come to learn these words or understand the meaning or the language? So for each song, I have somebody that is giving me the words written out in a Roman lettering, so I can read the lyrics. It's in the traditional languages, like Bhojpuri, but it's written out in Roman script. And I also receive a full translation in English. And the process that it takes for me to learn a song is quite involved, because I have to feel the meaning and I have to feel the words before I can record anything, or else it just doesn't carry the energy that it needs to. And for that, I am completely reliant on the friends along the way that have taught me these songs. And each year I become more familiar with the words and more familiar with the meaning of the festival. And what I really hope for is to find a group, maybe a group of people, Cultural Association of Bihar in the United States, and go to an actual Chhath Puja festival. I do hope to come to India at some point again soon, but that is, a more involved trip. And I hope to, I have not yet attended an in-person Chhath Puja, and I feel it is definitely the time to do that. So hopefully that will come by next year.